So I'm just about ready to do some flooring now, but let me show you what I've done so far. So you can see here now that floor is in place, but the handrails are still there, the old handrails and posts. So now I've got to pull those off, and when I take those off, I have to patch up the little bit of flooring. Let me show you over here. So when I pull up these posts, there'll be little spikes, or little rods that were welded onto the beam, and they were supporting the handrail, which is making them stiffen. So that there now has to be pulled out and replace this whole bit of flooring right back to here. So there's going to be another hole here. So I'll pull it off, replace that bit of boarding, replace the board on the other side over there, and then start filling it in. Well, it wasn't a huge job, but it took me a few days, and let me show you the result. All right, here is the floor done. I've matched the floor. It's very similar to what the original floor was. It just looks a bit fresher and newer compared to the old. So here's the old, here's the new. Actually happened to fit in perfectly between the gaps. So we had a gap where the existing floor was, so that was the last one of the existing. Where we removed the posts, I took the board out and replaced it, and they were just a tiny bit bigger. So for the first few, I think about 10 of these boards, I shaved 1 millimetre off each one, and then it was just a nice snug fit between. And we have the wall. So this wall here is basically the replacing the handrail, so it's a full wall, so we can actually furnish this area. So the next couple of things I have to do is to run a light switch for a fan that we're going to put in above. So I actually got up on the roof yesterday, and it took me a while. I had to take the ridge cap off, take off one of the end sheets and the capping, and run a wire through, drill it through the top. And I'm now in the process of just running it across and down in the wall, and then getting it down to the switch here. So the switch is off. I've cut a little hole there, because in the hole you can see I've actually got to pass the wires through from the top, and I've just got to do another 1, 2 holes. You can see if there's some little lines up there. I've got to do 2 little holes to pop the wires through and then patch them up. And it's easy enough to patch. I've already got a patch right beside it, so we just pop that back in, set it, and paint over it later. And one other thing is I've got to run from this power point now, I've got to run a wire. I'm just going to put in a draw wire for now, and the electrician will hook that up, and it's going to run under the floor, pop up here in those holes, and we're going to put 2 little power points. So there'll be 1 power point going there and 1 power point going over here. So once this wall is fully gyprocked, we'll put a cap along the top of it. So along here there'll be a little timber cap that goes onto it. It'll get set into the edges, and then all that remains will be to paint all of this. To paint that, I'm going to have to get some scaffolding set up. So we'll have to put some scaffolding from the bottom there all the way up into the roof here in the middle section, and then along these outside edges here I'll be able to put in a little mobile scaffold that I can work from. just waiting for a quote for that and get them to install it so I can paint. I'll probably have to take a couple of days to paint that, and the rest of it I can do on my own time. Well, it's a little bit overcast today, and I've got the lights on to make it a bit brighter in here because I want to show you what I did, but I forgot to film. I had a little bit of help to get these in, but I got Gyprock. I've done a nice finished edge here. So we've got little timber trim, then a metal casing bead on the end of that. And the other side looks like this. So that's on, ready to set. I've got to set the edges, so the corners here, the bottom edge has to have a bead put on it. So I'm going to finish patching and setting that today, and then after it's finished I'll be putting a cap along the top here, a timber cap. But also, while I've got the Gyprock out, I've removed this skirting here to be able to get through the bottom of the PowerPoint there. I just ran a bit of a fishing lead down there so the electrician can hook up some PowerPoints, and that's going to join to these later on, so it's ready for him to do it. But I had to damage the wall to get the skirting off, so I'm going to patch those little holes up and things and indentations. I've got to patch these up and basically get this whole room ready to be painted. The other thing I did was added this little timber trim here, so that now covers the top edge of the door, so it's not ugly anymore, and the door's sealed nicely. There's no gaps anymore, no air gaps, and that's finished. So now that all that's done, I'll be able to just temporarily take them off, take the doors off, put new flush pull handles in here in the middle of them, paint them, put them back on. So basically that's it. I'm going to do some patching, painting, and putting it all back to refit it. Alright, I've done a little bit of preparation. I've covered the floor here with some plastic just so I don't get drops. I've done the same downstairs and just got that ready. So for this here, I'm going to just run in now and set it all. See what I've done at the top here though, this little trim here is an edge trim that just gives a nice straight edge. So what we do is we run the timber along the top, and this little trim here makes a nice, really nice straight edge to it, and then this little flap here gets torn off and leaves a really nice straight edge that will fit nicely along there. There'll be a tiny little V groove here, nice arrowed edge around the top, and that's what it will look like, that capping with those edges. Alright, so top coat doesn't look too bad. Needs one more going over just to smooth it out, blend it out. Once it's sanded, it'll look really good. I've patched those little bottom bits there where I'd broken it or damaged it, taking out the skirting, and up here top coated, ready for a sand. And that's where I past the wires through to get the light switch up there for a ceiling fan. Other side of the wall also done. So that's yeah, ready for just a little bit of a top coat on top of that, and then I'll sand them. But now I'm going to move to the doors. These doors here have been in for a while and they need painting, and we're going to take them off, prepare them and paint them. But before I do that, just in here I've got to put in some flush pulls. So it's a matter of just drilling a couple of holes, set the flush pulls in and get them ready. And in the ends of the door, there's, because they sit flush, go all the way back, we need to put in a little pull in there, so when you flip it you can actually pull it through. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to paint this other couple of doors over here. So that one, the two in there, and that one there.